Okay, hello. My name is Bartek Samsonowicz. I work as an investment manager at PFR Ventures. So today I would like to tell you a few words about PFR Ventures, about our investment strategy, about our mission, what we are trying to achieve, what is our approach. And I have a good live example that our strategy and our mission works. And I will pass the floor to Aman, who will tell you a bit more what he's doing, what he's concentrating on, and what he's looking for in Poland. Okay, so PFR Ventures is a venture capital arm of Polish Development Fund. In general, we are a public institution, public investor, and our mandate is venture capital. So we operate as a fund of funds. So a key message to founders and startuppers is that we don't make any direct investments. We only invest in fund managers. So we are looking for best fund managers all over Europe. So we are not only concentrating on our local VC market, but we also are looking for experienced GPs, fund managers in Europe. Actually, Finch Capital is one of examples that we managed to attract top-tier fund managers to Poland. Maybe I will tell you a bit more what we have achieved so far, because actually we started like 2 years ago, so we were a startup ourselves, and through this short period of time, we already managed to open 5 separate fund-of-fund platforms. Our goal is to cover the whole spectrum of VC markets. So we have a program dedicated to seed capital. We have one dedicated to support business angels. We also have a corporate venture capital program. We also have one which is in the formula of open innovation, which concentrates on R&D projects. We also have one which concentrates on growth and expansion phase, which is actually the fund that I manage. It's a plain vanilla, very generalistic fund. In general, we are sector agnostic. But of course, we like funds that specialize in certain sectors, and Finch Capital is one of such funds, and maybe it's not a surprise, they specialize in fintech. Yeah, so through this 2 years' time, we managed to sign 21 LPAs, 21 investment agreements, and we managed to commit over 1 billion Polish zloty to those funds. We hope that we will strengthen our local ecosystem, our local VC market. This is actually our goal, our mission. Our money comes from European Union. This is also important. And next year we plan to double this amount at least. So we plan to open and invest in additional 20 fund managers. So we hope that this money will strengthen our ecosystem and will build some foundations for our market to grow. So maybe enough talking about fund of funds. Maybe I will ask Aman to introduce himself and his fund.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. My name's Aman. I'm from Finch Capital. So we are an early stage fund based in Europe. And we invest in the financial services ecosystem. And we define it fairly broadly. So we look at technologies that are disrupting financial pain points, not only in your kind of traditional invoice lending businesses, but also in real estate, insurance, kind of AI, fraud, security, and some of the other verticals. We've now made over 30 investments in companies like Zopa, Trussell in the UK that you might have heard of. And we kind of focus on the Series A side. So we like investing in businesses that have some product. Most of the businesses we invest in don't make net income. It's very important for us that the businesses reinvest their money into top-line growth. and actually have also invested in a business here in Krakow, a company called PFR, which is a very interesting content delivery network, deep tech player that we invested in. We're quite excited about the region for a number of reasons that I'll get to. And we want to invest more than kind of 15-20 million into Poland. What's interesting is, everybody knows Poland's an excellent kind of location for back office, but what's happening and what we see is happening is some of the middle office operations are moving into Poland, and what that does is it exposes people working in these companies to clients and helps them understand what kind of businesses they need to build from an operational level. So we see very interesting kind of developments in AI, computer vision, fraud in Poland. Obviously, Poland has a extremely interesting consumer credit market. I think out of 30 million people over here, 37 million people, 15 million people touch banking every day. So on a per capita level, that's even better than the UK. So they're very interesting kind of short-term kind of consumer problems, but also kind of longer-term enterprise software problems that we're spending time looking at. And there's always, an interesting kind of element of cooperation. So we are opportunistic. We look at companies that are going to solve big problems. I think that's the most important element to take away. We're not interested in companies that are going to be 50, 100 million in terms of value. We're interested in companies that are going to be, $500 million, $1 billion. So we take risk. I think that's extremely important. We're okay with not returning or writing off a company as long as, the company is trying to achieve something that is that could potentially be game changing. I think an interesting company is we just backed a company in the satellite space in the Netherlands that is going to start working quite closely with the Polish Space Agency that PFR introduced us to. So there's, that company is touching many data points in the insurance, Internet of Things vertical. So that's something we also consider fintech, but also as you think about what a venture investor needs to do, we need to make good returns and we need to have, big successes. So those are the kind of companies that we particularly look for.
Maybe you could also tell the audience a bit more about your investment criteria.
Yeah.
What are you looking for?
Yeah.
What kind of companies?
It's interesting, right? I think in Europe, there's always been a little bit of a hole in kind of the Series A space, right? So what happens is when you're a first-time entrepreneur trying to raise money, it's usually difficult. The way we kind of look at it is kind of twofold. I think if you're a first-time entrepreneur, you do have a little bit of a wind against you, and you do need a little bit of traction to come in and talk to a VC. It doesn't have to be massive, but it needs to be enough to convince people that you have product market fit. And so, we look for, in those situations, companies with less than $1 million in revenue, that have proven that product market fit. And then on the other hand, there is, we also have it in the fund world, a second-time entrepreneur, an entrepreneur that has made money and kind of knows how to make money. And I think that's really, really important because that kind of ambition filters down to the rest of the team. And so in that case, I think, we would look to back a repeat entrepreneur, even if it's early stage. And so the team dynamic makes a very, very important kind of element. And we our average check size, the first check into the company, is roughly 3 to 4 million, and we can kind of invest up to 15 million in a company as we follow on.
In euro terms, right?
Yes,
yeah.
This is all euros.
Yeah.
And so it's we back companies that work. So it's very important for us that there's enough ambition in the team to go out and do that.
But you can also do some seed rounds, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I'll give you an example. So the companies we've invested in Poland, PFR, is a seed investment. We met Dimitri and built a little bit of a relationship with him. It's a really good example of him being a first-time entrepreneur, but he has clients like Facebook, Oracle, Adobe, not paying much, but the way we see it, it doesn't matter. He's kind of proved product market fit, which is really, really important for a first-time entrepreneur. So we are opportunistic in these elements.
Okay, maybe you could also elaborate a bit more about this space project. Where's the fintech in space?
Yeah, so space is interesting. I think as you've probably seen with SpaceX, a number of companies are leveraging the low-cost ability to launch satellites into space. So one of the things that we focus on is obviously insurance. And the important element in insurance is data tracking. So if you think about a satellite company today, it's actually quite expensive to track something in real time. So your car navigation system costs 2,000 euros for a reason, because whatever manufacturer has to pay a satellite company for real-time tracking on a regular basis. What happens is, as a result, some of the kind of high value but low cost elements become very hard to do. So agriculture, for instance, you cannot expect a farmer to pay that kind of money to be able to track what his soil temperature or fertility is like, and as a result cannot buy crop insurance, for instance. So the satellite company that we invested in is really focused on low cost data tracking to enable farmers, vessels to tap into some of the insurance kind of value chain, which they couldn't because it's been high cost. And so they develop satellites. Again, these are generally off-the-shelf components that you put together. So nothing kind of too strenuous from a capital intensity perspective. But they put them together, and really what their business is around kind of commercializing that low-cost data capture.
Okay. So yeah, thank you very much for introducing Finch Capital to Polish audience. So if you are a founder trying to make ends meet in a fintech segment, and you are looking for an investor, please feel free to reach out to Aman, and maybe he will be able to invest in your company. And if you are a fund manager who would like to apply for money to PFR Ventures, please feel free to contact me. We will be available after the event, so please feel free to, if you have any questions or if you have any ideas, just reach out to us.